Good morning. I wanted to talk a little bit about the student murders in Idaho. News Nation is featured in two different segments. Two former FBI agents. One of those was also former CIA. I wanted to reiterate what McGarry had said, and that is that we have to be very careful about overinterpreting information. There's a lot of information that is not coming out. And police must do this if they are to maintain the integrity of their investigation. I understand that there are folks that are upset because it seems like they might have cleared people too quickly. Um, and then because of the way these murders happen, there's been a lot of speculation about the psychology of the murderer. But please understand that police investigators, murder investigators, have to keep an open mind. There are two logical fallacies that come into play when investigators don't do their job properly: anchoring and confirmation bias. Anchoring, on the one hand, okay, think about this. So, on the one hand, we have anchoring. In anchoring, we get stuck on our very first hypothesis about who or how these murders were committed, why they were committed, but we anchor ourselves to our first impression of them. And then we go about only collecting evidence that confirms that anchor. So now you can see, okay, they match, right? And what seems like an investigative eureka may simply be what we call cherry picking the evidence or cherry picking the data, because in a criminal investigation, evidence is the data. So we have to be very careful about what we expect of the investigators in this particular case. Now, what I've heard on TV in the news is that these were stabbings. It certainly appears that one of the victims had overkill, but there could be a lot of reasons for the overkill, a lot of different reasons for the overkill. To his credit, McGarry said that, it could be that the overkill was because that person fought back. The overkill may be for other reasons other than that individual was targeted. It could be that somebody is coming in to commit the murders, be a serial killer. Maybe not. We don't know. But it could be that someone is coming in to commit the murders, and the particular person with the overkill reminds them of someone else. Or there might be a certain physical type of that person that results in their thought process leading to the overkill. The other thing is, it's important to understand that this happened at night, and what the news media is telling us, and I don't know if this is true or not, is that all of the victims were asleep. So, yes, stabbing is a lot more up close and personal than shooting, but stabbing someone who is alive is a lot more up close and personal than stabbing someone who is asleep as well. So it's important to understand that there are a lot of different theories about things. We might be hearing about whether the crime scene is organized or disorganized. Well, crime scenes are not either or, one or the other. Don't think of it as it's one or the other. Think of it as a long line of a continuum. Okay? Yeah. So it's important to understand all of that as well. So when we think about what the police are doing, and when I hear all of the criticism of the police investigators that's happening in Idaho, I just want to say, will you step back and let them do their jobs? Pretty pressure results in a lot of false convictions. That's very important to understand. When there's been a heinous murder, the community pressuring the police to solve this so we can feel safe again leads to investigative errors. So I would encourage the community to back off and let the police do their job. There cannot be a timeline on getting the right person. I know that's a scary proposition, but if we're going to catch the person who actually did this, we cannot pressure the police to go faster than they ought. And when I say than they ought, I mean we shouldn't make them go so fast that there may be evidence that they overlook, not because they intentionally overlook it, but because they're moving so fast. We need to let them slow down so they can solve the crime faster. So I'm hoping to take that in. I hope you all have a good day. And please let the investigators do their job.